Hello and welcome. Today, I have something really special for you. I'm here with Tammy Augustus. She's one of our founding members who's been with us for 10 years now. And so to celebrate our 10-year anniversary, I thought I would interview some of our founding members and talk to them about, what's changed for them over the last 10 years. Uh-oh, she's gone.
No.
10 years and now she's gone. That's it. She stayed for 10 and now she's gone. Anyway. So welcome, Tammy. Thank you for being with us for 10 years. And thank you for being one of our founding members. It's great to have you with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So one of the things that I've been asking people is, what's changed for you in your yoga practice over the last 10 years? And I recognize fully that you probably were practicing yoga prior to becoming a member of our community as well.
Right, in a totally different way. So what has changed over the 10 years? Well, I think for me, just kind of a general change is I've grown in my ability to navigate the platform. So, I've figured some things out that make it easy for me to retrieve a video that I want to practice. Before I just kind of went right by what was presented, but now I feel like I have a pretty nice library, even in my mind, about kind of intuitively what my body might need on a particular day. And so that's really been helpful. And I still struggle a little bit trying to find something, that I want to do again, but it's much, much easier.
Do you have any favorites?
Oh, I have some that I call, kind of comfort food.
Love it.
And a lot of them are the morning sequences. I think one of them is one that you made available free to anyone who signed up for email. And I have used that one so much, and I've really shared it. But a lot of the things that I gravitate towards now are kind of therapeutic. It could be that my eyes feel strained and I want to go to the eye yoga, or my back is bothering me and I do know that I maybe will benefit from the bolster or the roller. And these are things that really I never knew before when I was in person in a studio, because when you go there, that's the practice, and you can certainly modify a little bit, but to have that freedom to choose what your body needs is pretty.
And I think it's rare in a studio, unless it's like a Pilates studio, that there are like foam rollers and things like that. So yeah.
Right.
That's definitely something that we have in our membership community. So tell me a little bit about the rhythm and cycles of your practice over 10 years. It's just one of the things that I want to kind of drive home is that it's not all the same all the time.
It's not the same all the time. Sadly, in the beginning, well, not sadly, I mean, I was very fortunate to have a job I loved. But my yoga went around my schedule. So I personally really enjoy doing yoga first thing in the morning. So for me, that meant a 4:45 a.m. wake up. But I really, really love that. It was almost, like it could be likened to a mild addiction. I would feel off-centered throughout the day. But then as I not only grew, adding years to my experience with Melissa's yoga, I also grew in age myself. And so I started, kids were getting older. And so if I, for some reason, had to miss my morning yoga, I would come home and maybe choose something that would, like an evening sequence or something that would help me prepare for sleep. A little bit different, not the same routine, because I wanted a different outcome. But I think initially I got on and I did what was given, and now, so that's really changed. But the rhythm, and I'm off rhythm right now, having just retired, and I'm no longer
Yeah.
waking up at 4:45.
Yeah.
But I am getting a new rhythm, and it's, we've been talking a lot about not letting it just be a box that we check off. So sometimes the opportunity will present itself, and I just decide I'm going to get on my mat, and
Yeah.
that's pretty different. The rhythm also really for me involves the DYC now.
Yeah.
Much more I am much more engaged, and really not just since retirement. I have found that to be just a wonderful way to be connected with people in a really safe and supportive environment. Other social media does not do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, it supports a real positive kind of rhythm too.
Yeah. So that's the daily yoga connection for people. Like, we have all these acronyms that we're comfortable with in our community, but yeah. And that's where we have a theme that we follow in the month. And then there's like a reflection for the week. And then we put out suggested videos for each day of the week, longer ones on the weekend. And you can, of course, do them in any order that works for you and dip in and out as it works for you. And yeah, it's like as you were transitioning into retirement, you were sort of moving in that direction too. I could see that you were doing that. So when you say you were doing the classes that were suggested, I'm curious what classes those were, because I always think of the DYC as the suggested classes. Do you mean in my membership minute then? Or
it could have been the member. It's hard for me to even remember, because it really developed and become a true community of people who are nurturing one another and encouraging one another. And I don't know, that could have been me, because it took a while to get used to the online kind of.
Yeah, you really only stepped into that in the last little while, even though you've been a long-term member. So that's interesting too. Yeah.
So I guess I would have to say to that point, that some of the practices that I did may not have been suggested. They were ones that maybe came through email from you, like
probably the membership minute. Yeah.
Right. And then I would do that, and I would add it to my little collection. Downloaded a lot of those so that I could call them. But now it's more of it's a live practice. It's living, and it's way better than going to a studio for me.
Yeah. There's a lot of freedom in practicing at home, I think. Yeah, for sure. What would be one of the main things you think you feel like you've learned over the last 10 years?
Well, I've learned that I am worthy, and that I am not perfect, but it is not a perfect world. And I would not say that I've learned it as it's in the past tense. I think I'm still in the process of accepting myself, and my practice for where I am. I was always a little bit competitive. I had danced, and I even taught some ballet to very young children, probably several decades ago now. But I felt competitive at the studio. I had a friend, and we would go to yoga, and it was hot yoga and all that stuff. And and we would just be looking at each other out of the corner of our eye, like, hey, I can hold it longer. And that was and then not feeling good about my yoga. So I think the thing that I've really learned is that yoga is not only going to extend my life, it's going to enhance the quality of life. As you know, I had 2 knee replacements, and I really wasn't sure I'd ever get back really on the mat. And child's pose is one of my favorite poses. Now it's legs up the wall.
But things change.
Just learning that there's a modification for everything. And I'm so comfortable when I'm on the mat. you, most of the time, you say, now, if this isn't for you, remember, these are some modifications. But I've even started to feel like I don't need to have your voice tell me all the time. I can figure it out. So I think just yoga is a lifestyle. It isn't a practice, it's.
Yeah. It's so great that you've internalized that for yourself, right? That the choice is there on the tip of your own choice tongue or whatever you want to say, Yeah, that's really great. Is there anything that stands out for you, like best moments in the last 10 years?
Oh, I would say, I don't know if this is really that relevant, but receiving my mug
Oh,
from you.
yeah.
And it's funny, but my husband knows not to touch that mug.
Oh, that's good.
Because I say to that mug a lot of times when I'm drinking from it, I love this mug. It represents something so special to me. And I know it is a material thing and I will not always have it. So I will just cherish this moment that I am drinking my tea out of this mug.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a material thing, but it's, we talk a lot about little props and candles and things that we can do to put ourselves in a good place. But and I was so excited about being member of the month. But I think the greatest
so for
thing,
people, I just want to say for people who are listening, don't know what that is. I don't have one close by either, but here in Victoria, there's a place called Hands on Clay Collective, and they make these beautiful mugs that are kind of West. Yeah, you have a really nice West Coast one.
I do, don't I?
Yeah. Yeah. And they're really unique and special and beautiful. And I wanted to have something that I could gift our members of the month, people that contribute to our community in a beautiful way, to send to people that would connect us and make us think of our membership. And, not like a branded sweatshirt or whatever, but, we can all have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And that's a special time to pause in your day and just have a moment to yourself. And it's become even more special because as we sit together in our Zoom calls, and have our Dharma talks and talk to each other, it's really cool to see all the mugs come up now when people are drinking. So yeah, that's become a really special thing to connect. And I know that in my days too, just sitting and having a cup of tea. And right now it's autumn here, and I just love putting a chai tea in my cup and sitting and having a yummy chai tea. And, it's just nothing better. It's so cozy. And yeah, and it's true. There's something about really valuing things that will be impermanent, and it's okay to love material things while we have them and see the preciousness in them. It's okay to let them enhance our lives, I think. So yeah, the mugs are kind of a cool way that we connect with each other around the world. And yeah, so I'm glad you love it.
I also do want to say that one of the other things that I think really over the last 2 years that has really been something special to me is like the sisterhood. You told that neat story about being at camp and that camaraderie, and and I think we have that in our daily yoga connection. And we have our sacred pause, and we have some weekly or every couple of weeks monthly events where we all, there really is a very strong connection. It's not superficial. There's a deep care and just a connection, which I just think is wonderful.
Yeah, for those that really choose to be involved in community, there is we have strong guidelines for community, and we have a strong leadership that supports community. And for those that really choose to be involved in that part of the community, there's a lot of support. And when it comes to spiritual practice, that is really one of the cornerstones that will support you, right? The Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, the Buddha being your own inner self, the Dharma being the teachings, and the Sangha being the community, being connected to others that are on the same path as you, that want similar things as you, that you can turn to and say, you know, what's happening with you in your practice? How is it going for you? What's going on in your life? And how are we all moving together in this a similar way? And that's very important, and it helps to support your journey. And for those people that really do connect into the community aspect of it, it does really support the practice, Yeah.
And it has really been a lifeline during this
Oh
COVID-19
yeah.
pandemic. Truly, as a principal at an elementary school, a lot of my teachers, like I shared the eye yoga with them one morning in a faculty meeting. And, I just think it has made me a kinder and gentler person to get to know myself through the spiritual aspects, because that's a big part of the yoga group.
Yeah. And the eye yoga, I think, like, I'm guessing that you shared it with them to connect them to their ventral vagus nerve, to help them to connect with the parasympathetic nervous system, and to have that sense of safety and connection, not necessarily to improve their eyesight.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Because I just want to
although
clarify
I
that
have
too,
been
because
very good.
I think I get a lot of people that are like, oh, my eyesight is, and then they give me their exact prescription. Can I improve it? And I think, well, like, you can't change the shape of your eye, but you can improve the quality of your life by moving your eyes. And it totally affects the whole vagus nerve. And that is a blessing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and certainly, I feel so fortunate to have someone leading like you, because your knowledge is so deep that, I could never really share something and say what it would do. The sunflower meditation is another one that, just kind of bringing people to value themselves and appreciate, and those kind of little messages. But that's the thing about your yoga, Melissa, is that we are learning about our bodies physically, mentally, emotionally, every aspect, and getting in touch. So it's not one and done. It's a lifestyle. It's with you 24/7.
And I'm so glad you're passing it on and carrying it through into your life in those ways. It's really beautiful. Is there anything else you want to share or pass on that you wanted to speak about today before we close out?
No, I would just say it is an eclectic group from all over the world, literally. And so that's kind of neat too, hearing the different perspectives. But I just can't imagine my life without Melissa Yoga.
Well, I'm so glad that you're with us. And I just thank you so much for being one of our founding members and for being with us for the past 10 years. And we really appreciate you. Thank you, Tammy. Thanks for this today.
Absolutely. Great.